I was pleased to be able to convey the personal commitment of Secretary Kerry to the success of this conference. He reaffirmed the long-term goals that President Obama has stated of achieving a world without nuclear weapons in a continued, focused, but admittedly long-term project to which we remain absolutely committed. In the great sweep of history, in the 45 years since this treaty was negotiated, the fact is that we do not have tens or dozens of nuclear weapon states, as most experts predicted 50 years ago. The lateral proliferation has been very limited. That means it has not been a complete success. But without this treaty and without the capabilities and the resources of the International Atomic Energy Agency, and without a constantly reinforced political consensus against proliferation, we certainly would have seen far more states with nuclear weapons today. I do consider that the possibility of Iran acquiring such a weapon would be a genuine tipping point and would cause more damage to the treaty than anything else that has occurred in its history. You know better than anyone else the atmosphere and environment in which this conference happens to take place. Increasingly bellicose rhetoric from North Korea after having exploded a third nuclear device, and a situation in which Iran remains in defiance of its international obligations. Iran builds on a long history of deceiving the IAEA and the international community with a nuclear enrichment program that far exceeds any conceivable civilian use. These are the real challenges to the Non-Proliferation Treaty. The United States has worked for the last year and a half with its partners, Russia, the United Nations, the United Kingdom, and Ambassador Laeva of Finland to convene a first meeting to discuss the possibility of creating a WMD-Free zone in the Middle East. It was not possible to hold that meeting last year. We continue to believe that we missed a deadline, but we have not missed the opportunity. The United States supports the goal both of holding the conference and of establishing the zone. The actions of Iran and North Korea should concern every member of this conference. It is clear that if Iran succeeds in the project of constructing nuclear weapons, then it is not only the Helsinki meeting that becomes irrelevant, but it is in fact the entire credibility of this treaty. The possession of such weapons by Iran constitutes a threat to the entire region and an impetus for greater proliferation, lateral proliferation of weapons than we have ever seen. The fact is that it is concerted international diplomatic action with the full range of diplomatic tools, including strong economic sanctions, that have brought Iran to the negotiating table. They have not yet succeeded in getting Iran to negotiate seriously on the world's concerns, but they have brought us to the table. North Korea, the answer is similar, even though they are not at this conference, that it is important that the world respond calmly but deliberately without changing our emphasis, that the goal of the world to which North Korea is committed is a denuclearized Korean peninsula. And the more states that make that clear, the greater the chance we have of arriving at exactly that goal. The United States continues to reduce substantially the number and the role of its nuclear arsenal. We continue to take steps to reduce the likelihood that any nuclear weapon, with all the terrible consequences that would ensue, will ever be used. I believe that the United States has shown a fantastic record in the last few years of moving ahead on disarmament issues. And to think that it could be radically different than where we are is to underestimate the technical complexity and the very nature of negotiations in a security issue. We are moving to the lowest level in our nuclear arsenal in more than 60 years. And the President has stated that we can and will go even lower. So the United States believes it has fully met its commitment, and we intend to do much more.